What's up, guys? It's your boys, and we'll keep back with another scary, terrifying, and creepy video from a person that we have not watched for quite a while, Seth Borden. We're about to watch his meeting of the real Annabelle doll at the Warren Occult Museum. I'm surprised that they were able to do this because I remember watching the overnight channel with Elton and Corey. They stated that they wouldn't let anybody else in but them. So I'm definitely very intrigued because I think this is the second people that are allowed to go in there and investigate. He's with their, or he's at this location with Exploring with Josh. I hope that one day Sam and Colby will get the chance to go there as well. I'd like to see them go there. But with that being said, grab a chair, grab some popcorn as we take a look at Seth Borden and Exploring with Josh going to the real Annabelle doll, the Conjuring doll, as you will, at the Warren Occult Museum. If you guys are new to my channel, if you guys are returning and have not subscribed yet, make sure you guys subscribe right now by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Smack that bell icon next to it so I do post videos like this one. You'll get that little ring notification that Wookie, myself, has posted that video. Then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you so very much for the continued love and support you guys show on this channel every single day. I can't thank you guys enough. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and we'll continue to keep growing together. Speaking of support, check out the link in the description for Seth Borden himself. Go over there to his channel, watch his old stuff, watch his new stuff. Give him the love that he deserves for compiling this together for us to enjoy. Go to the location and film it. Can take a lot of work, a lot of effort. We want to give thanks back to him. And yes, if you guys are wondering if Seth Borden is related to Lizzie Borden, the Axe Murder House, yes, that is the Lizzie Borden infamous So, with that being said, let's get into the video. I hate driving. I don't know. I used to love driving, and now I'm hating it.
Josh, why are we in the breakdown lane?
I don't know. I'm trying to avoid the cops. It doesn't see me.
Oh my gosh.
That's illegal.
She's in the middle of the way. See, I knew she would let me in because she was doing it too.
One last sip of coffee before I die.
You wouldn't think this is where the Annabelle doll is.
Nah, it kind of just looks like a regular house, right?
Yeah.
Very
Looks
weird,
can be
odd
deceiving.
house. Yeah, I want to go here someday just to feel the aura. Go in there with a whole bunch of 100 crucifix on my chest. Man, he's got a good camera now. Look at this camera quality. Oh, hello, the movie doll.
Dude, I'm shaking.
Me too.
I'm shaking.
All right, so who's going in first? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be me? Which one of us wants to be possessed first?
You want to go first?
I think you should go in first. Because if something bad happens, at least it happens to you.
The first one?
Yeah.
Here we go, guys. Wow, this is epic. This is really exciting to be here. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Seth.
How's it going? How's it going?
So, this is the Warren Occult Museum. It's been around since the 50s when
That
it
voice
started
sounds familiar.
The Society for Psychic
It's the
Research.
nephew.
Because he and Lorraine were out doing all these investigations.
Yep, it's
People
him.
were saying, geez, I gotta get rid of this haunted object. It's screwing everything up in our lives. Take this off my hands, will you, Mr. Warren?
And Lorraine Warren, the infamous Conjuring paranormal investigators.
Lorraine, a light trance medium, and Ed, an avid investigator of anything which hails from the netherworld, spend their lives trying to identify the unknown, patrolling the supernatural realm and investigating unexplained phenomena occurring worldwide.
They are not with us anymore. If you guys did
It is
not know.
here in a tightly secured museum attached to the offices of the New England Society for Psychic Research that Ed tends his collection of mystic items. Each comes with its own story and
There's
each
that
its
one
own
doll.
intent. It is only through a diversity of religious blessings and cleansing ceremonies that their power is kept at bay.
When he first started to do it, he would stuff all the stuff in a 33 Chevy that we have, in this old car that he bought. And finally he said to Lorraine one day, we got to start collecting stuff and put it on display so people can see it. And why don't we just create a museum and a society? And that's what he did. He said, we got all these photographs. We got all these case files and handwritten notes. We got all these open reel tapes. Let's just make a society. And they came up with New England Society for Psychic Research.
Where's that
And
one
over
black
the years,
doll?
They gathered all of these haunted objects.
You have to be extremely careful in how you treat these things. Psychoanalysis, certain prayers, you don't go picking them up, you don't have your aura mingle with the aura of these things unless it's positively necessary, and even I don't. And there are many what we call death dolls here.
People send this stuff all the time because what happens?
I'll just keep my hands in my pockets.
For instance, at night, or the
Not
next
touching.
morning, there's phenomena going on in the house, like they see shadows, their names being called out, maybe being grabbed and
Yeah.
touched. They immediately, which I would too, attribute it to the doll they bought the night before, or whatever artifact they might have bought at a tag sale.
It's new and it's
thrift
new
store,
house.
wherever.
So even on accident, you might go to an antique store, you like this object, you bought it, and then you didn't know it was haunted, and it could have just ruined your life.
Many times. If it were me, if I purchased an old object like that, I'd have it blessed by a priest.
Before you even brought it into the house or
Before I
anything.
even brought it in the
Hell
house,
yeah.
I'd have it blessed. That's the safe way to do it. That's how a lot of these objects came to be. Like Annabelle, which you'll see in a little while. It was bought in the thrift store by the mother.
That's it. That's how I didn't
Bought
even
at a thrift
know
store.
that's how it started that
It was
way.
a used object. What was it used before? What happened to that before? Was it in the presence of maybe someone doing witchcraft rituals? Or did they do it on purpose? We don't know. But we'll talk about that as we go along.
Just so you guys know, this actually was Ed Warren's office back in the
Yep.
day. Man, this
Got
is
a lot of
just
stuff in
so
there.
surreal. And apparently a lot of those things that were painted on the wall right there, Ed actually painted himself.
Oh.
And he would really come in here and he would listen to tapes on these machines. Tapes that had recordings of their
EVPs.
investigations in their cases. The Conjuring case was worked on in this room. The Amityville Horror House, one of the other most infamous cases you've ever heard about, it was all worked on here. It's really weird to think about. The energy in here is just something else.
Now, for viewers at home, how are you related to them?
I'm the son-in-law. I'm married to Judy, which is their daughter. Ed and Lorraine had one child,
Okay, not
Judy.
nephew.
And I met Judy in 1979 when I was a police officer, cruising a small town in Bloomfield, Connecticut. And I happened to see her pass by my cruiser while I was parked, and she waved and smiled at me, and the rest is history.
Who would have thought you ended up in
1979.
this after that?
If I didn't see her drive by in that car, if I didn't look up from doing my report, none of this, I would have never been here.
Yeah, that's so crazy how you just can meet someone and end up in this.
Changes your whole life.
Yeah,
What we have here, though, is just representations of course, the famous Ed Warren.
Oh,
Lorraine
that's what they're
Warren.
there.
Lorraine always used to wear kilts, always. And I'd say she had
I was
about
wondering,
40
those are
50
new.
kilts that she got in Scotland. And Ed always wore safari-type jacket. Why did he do that? Not to look tough. First of all, he just liked the style of safari, but it was the pockets and a flashlight in this
They
pocket.
had a whole bunch of
maybe a
pockets.
blank cassette or something in one of the pockets. He always had holy water. That was like a staple. It's like his sidearm was holy water. That's the shadow doll. Now, Josh,
I hate the shadow
Hey,
doll.
can you
it's
elaborate
a
on the shadow
dangerous
doll?
object simply because it was built and made, first of all, to look like that.
It looks evil.
Doesn't it look evil?
The doll you see here was made through black magic rituals. It's called a doll of shadows.
Do not disrespect these
Now,
dolls.
why is it called a doll of shadows? We'll take a look at it. It has human bones here and there and animal parts all over the body. You notice the nails in here and the tooth sticking out. Well, these are all feathers from crows and whatever. But this, I can tell that it was made with evil purposes. Now, the purpose is this.
What people do who are knowledgeable, and when I say knowledgeable, I mean a sorcerer, a wizard, someone who's into the black arts. Say, Josh, I didn't like you for whatever reason.
Right.
Doctor
I got
Strange?
a grudge against you, and I'm knowledgeable in the black arts. They would take a photograph of it, print it out on their printer. I turn the picture over, I write the curse, whatever it is, and I put it in an envelope, I mail it to you. Just by you accepting the mail, pulling it out, not even looking on the back, not even seeing the curse, you accepted the curse that went with that photo. Whatever their intention for the curse was, could be to make you sick, lose all your money.
So is that the same thing if I accept my bill? I don't have to pay the bill as long as I don't touch it? Is that the same thing?
Could make you lose your job or even get sick and die. That's what that was invented for. So
Check your
they
mail.
gave it to Ed Warren, and
Be
Ed
careful.
kept it in the case here. He told me it's one of the most dangerous objects.
You
in
get
here
chills
besides
thinking about it.
Annabelle, which is, we think, the most dangerous.
Wow.
Once you see the image of the doll, it can be projected telepathically to you in your dream state. These images of these dolls can be so frightening that they've actually stopped people's hearts
Oh
during
my
the dream
gosh.
state. A couple bought the doll from the antique dealer who practically gave it to them. They were doll collectors.
We're like,
And,
take it. Get out of
first
here.
night, both of them had scratch marks all over their body, and they had a horrible nightmare. The same nightmare, which is unnatural. The following night, it was not only scratch marks, it was claw marks, and very frightening. And they knew of us. They called me up. I went out there, and they said, "Take this doll, please. Take it." You see, you must be very
Get it
careful
outta
with a
here.
doll like this. You can never destroy it. If you destroy it, you could have things occur to you that would be horrible. Because
Anybody who's familiar with this book by John Fuller,
Oh yeah.
The Ghost of Flight 401, this is one of the most documented cases of an apparition showing itself, probably in history almost, because
I'm going to have to
this
look into
flight,
that.
L-1011 Eastern Airlines flight went down in the Everglades in 71, 72, I can't remember, in the 70s, and it crashed. And there were some survivors, though. Not everybody perished. But the flight navigator, Don Repo, died. His spirit showed up on other planes that used spare parts from the original crash. Because Eastern Airlines went down to the Everglades, and they said, let's clean up all the stuff, but anything that's usable, we're going to reuse, like the galley cart. Oh, the galley cart's okay, the seats are okay. The flight recorder, we'll use it on another plane.
So he had a connection now to the.
He had a
other
connection
planes.
to every part of the plane.
What?
He was spotted by the co-pilot, the pilot, the stewardesses, or the airline flight attendants.
Wow,
the
haunted
passengers,
planes.
to the point where Eastern Airlines finally said, we can't have this anymore. Take all those parts that we used on this L-1011 plane and take them off. They took them off, and the apparitions, the visions stopped.
What?
This is a weird part. This is the part that's going to crack you up. Ed is in his office one day.
He's got one
There's
part.
a knock at the door. Lorraine comes in and says, "There's some college kids want to see you. You got time?" Yeah, let them in. They brought him pieces of the wreckage that they found in the Everglades. Went down to look.
No way.
This is the actual wreckage of the Flight 1011, one of them.
What the
Here's
hell?
another piece.
Dude.
Wow.
There's a number written on it, too.
This comes from Flight 401. That was the flight,
When it went down in the Everglades?
yes, in the Florida Everglades.
That's not the end of the story, though.
What the
because
hell?
Parts were brought here by some college students.
Look how young he looks
Picked them
there.
up in the Everglades. Soon after, we had a visit by Don Repo, right out here in our driveway.
Really?
Two people had seen him standing out there, yes.
The guy, the flight navigator.
What?
Honest to God. And Ed, and I said, I had Ed, because Ed told me the story. I had Ed swear on the stat. I said, Ed, do you swear to God, on your family, that really happened? He goes, tell him, why am I going to make a story up like that? I saw Don Repo, and then he vanished, and never saw him again.
He had on his uniform, a raincoat. It was a rainy day that day, and he had on his hat. Now, Don Repo, a lot of people don't realize, was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And his wife lived across the street from me on Jane Street in a house that was haunted that I lived in.
Isn't that amazing?
What a
That's a
small
crazy
world.
one.
Isn't that stupid?
That's scary. We're looking right at the Annabelle face to face, actually.
Don't it feel weird in here?
It does. It does.
Like when you go into a haunted place, you can get those kind of vibes, but I'm not getting it any negative feeling. I just know that it feels different outside than it does in here.
Yeah, the energy is definitely a bit different when you go out here and here.
Well, it's definitely different. I'm going to tell you guys something. Not that many people have seen the doll in person. It looks like a regular Raggedy Ann doll. That's the frightening part about it.
This here scares me.
Just
This one
leave
right
it
here.
alone.
The Raggedy Ann doll.
Yes. That's probably the worst thing we have in this whole museum.
The worst
that
thing?
Raggedy Ann doll was given to a nurse in 1970 by her mother as a Christmas present. But as most girls do, even 28 years old.
So, here's what really happened. You saw the movie Annabelle, you'd know, or Conjuring 1, you'd know.
She lived with another nurse, and they shared the expenses of the apartment, which was 4 blocks away from Hartford Hospital.
And she left it on the couch one day, and she goes to work with her girlfriend, do a nursing job. Comes home, the doll's now in the bedroom, lying on the bed. Kept happening. They leave the doll on one end of the couch. They come home, it's on the other end of the couch. They leave the doll with the legs crossed. They come home, the legs are uncrossed. Now they're thinking, wait a minute, maybe the superintendent is playing a trick on us. He was a young guy. Maybe he's trying to scare us.
I'm
do a
watching
trick.
that doll.
Let's do something. Let's put tape on the bottom of the doorway, entranceway. Let's set the rug in just a way that we know if somebody walks in, it's going to move the rug. We'll know if somebody's been in this apartment. So they did that. When they left, the doll's legs were uncrossed on the couch. They come home that night. Nothing's been disturbed. The tape was still there. The rug was still fine. The doll is now in a different location, and the legs that were uncrossed are now crossed. Several nights later, they found a piece of parchment paper, and written in crayon was the words, "Help us."
What?
The next night, another parchment paper with crayon, "Help me." They looked at each other and said, what's going on here? We don't have any parchment paper or crayons in the house. What is this? Now they're getting a little nervous, though, about this situation. They're at the breakfast nook, had the doll with them next to that. They always did. See those two flimsy arms? It's all made of rags, right? It's called a Raggedy Ann doll, right? Those two flimsy arms levitated onto the table of the breakfast nook.
What?
And the girls looked at each other. They were intrigued. They were more intrigued than they were scared at this point. They're like, you know what? That doll's trying to tell us something.
They said,
You're
let
a little
it-
nervous still.
you're
but
allowed
they're
to be
intrigued
here.
by what was happening too.
One said, I know a medium. So they held a seance that night. That was the beginning of many seances with this doll. They would come home at night, and the woman had told them, the medium, that there was a spirit of a 6-year-old child in the doll by the name of Annabelle, who had been killed outside of their apartment house in an automobile accident.
What?
The nurses believed it. So now they start calling her Annabelle. She said, I'm going to buy a bracelet for it. So she bought a little bracelet that says Anna on it.
That's the bracelet?
Yeah, that's the actual bracelet.
Anna
Now they're
or
really
Annie?
treating her like a, oh, okay,
Anna.
this is just it's a human entity in there. That's why she's moving around the house. Everything's okay, you know. I'd say within 3 weeks, Lou, who was a fiancé of Donna, he used to stay there a lot. He's lying on the couch sleeping. At the other end of the couch is Annabelle. Suddenly he wakes up with a start, and he's sweaty. He's hyperventilating. He's like 28 years old, 29.
Yeah.
He's going like this.
It's
Like
attacking
that.
him.
What's the matter, Lou? What's the matter? He says, that doll. I just had the worst nightmare in the world with that doll. He goes, they said, what? I had a dream, a nightmare that doll was crawling up my leg and it finally got to my neck and was strangling me to death.
A
He
doll.
takes the doll off the couch, picks it up, and throws it across the room and says, that's just a Raggedy Ann doll. That can't hurt anybody. Just like that. When he did that, that's when the slashes happened. He had 7 slashes, 4 on his chest and 3 on his stomach. It looked like someone took a scalpel and
Whoa.
slit through his t-shirt, and you see the blood lines coming through. Now the girls panicked. They said to themselves, this can't be a 6 or 7-year-old girl in a doll. This is something demonic, or this is something nefarious. They're thinking to themselves, what do we do? What do we do? Let's call Father Richard Nolan, Episcopal priest in Hartford. So they call him. He says, you know, I never dealt with that stuff before. I don't know what to tell you. But I know who can help you, Ed Warren. Call the
Oh,
Warrens.
yes.
The big guns.
Call the Warrens. Yeah.
Call the
Big
big guy.
And he
the
did.
big kahunis.
We went to the house. Exorcism was performed immediately in the home and over the people.
Not open. We used to have it on the outside. Positively do not open. When you interview Dan, ask him what he did to this case, why it's so special. He'll tell you what he did, and it is special. It's very protective, and there's rationale
There's
behind
a
it. And there's reasons
Lord's Prayer
behind it.
behind it.
I want him to tell you about it because
Yeah.
he did it.
Now, serious question. Which one's creepier? The movie one or the real one?
Both.
Well, the movie one is used for the movie, so they're gonna make it look really messed up. And yeah, that is a creepy dang doll.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine that in your house in the dark corner and you see that doll.
I'd
Hell
rather
no.
not.
But it's so weird, you know? It's like what everyone said. This doll and a lot of these artifacts is just accidentally bought inside like yard sales. Didn't even know they were haunted. They take them home and it ruined them.
But that stuff actually happens.
Yeah, it makes you think twice about buying stuff.
I was just gonna say, so be careful about what you do.
Don't
in the
buy an
paranormal.
armoire.
Seth, don't touch anything, please.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'll tell you again.
I tried to touch the Annabelle doll like 10 times. So you guys probably think that this case is cool, right?
Yeah, don't
it's
do
pretty
that.
cool. Until you realize that the original one is behind it. That just blows my mind. That's another thing I can't believe about this place is how many original artifacts and pieces of evidence are inside this building. This is very real, authentic stuff that is carrying a lot of, what would you say, Josh? Evil?
Evil.
My name is Dan Rivera. I'm the NASPR Senior Lead Investigator. I work with the traditional Catholic Church as well, which I take on cases the same as Ed and Lorraine would have done in the past. And if the church needs to be involved, I'll have to go to the priest and tell him about the situation, about the case.
Well, I didn't know that still happens. I know, like, back in the day, that was a thing.
We still doing it. Last year or a couple of years ago even, we had about maybe 7 exorcisms performed.
I was just gonna
The last couple
ask.
of years been pretty busy with that. My connection with this doll, back around 1980, there was a gentleman that came in here. I was probably 8 years old at the time. I had no connection with the Warrens at that time. There was a gentleman that came in here and was knocking on the glass and provoking Annabelle and said,
piss
you
it
know,
off.
if you're real, you put scratches on me, do something to me.
A young man came in here one day with a bunch of college students. He came over here, I was standing over in the other corner. He started tapping on this glass and said, I don't believe any of this is a bunch of hooey. He said, if that doll can do anything, let it do something to me right now. Put a slash on me. I put him out of the building.
Ed saw what he was doing and told the gentleman, you need to leave.
Yeah, get out.
Right.
So he kicked the gentleman out with his girlfriend. A couple hours later, he got into a motorcycle accident and went straight down into a tree and died.
I put him out of the building. He was on a motorcycle. 3 hours later, he was dead.
Now here's my connection. Here's my connection to this doll. 8 years old. It was a Saturday morning. I went on a route with my father. My father used to deliver pastries and breads to the local diners and country clubs. And the Monroe Diner was our last stop, and this was probably around noon or so. We made that stop over there, and we started heading back home down Route 25. We saw a motorcycle pass us. It was a gentleman riding a motorcycle. He didn't have a helmet. The girl, his girlfriend behind, I remember her. She was holding the bar behind the motorcycle, and he's flying right by us, and my father says, Dan, they're gonna get into an accident. We get to the end of the Route 25 connector that merges with Route 8. We saw the motorcycle laying on the side road, flipped over. We didn't see the gentleman. He went right into the wood line. And all we saw was his girlfriend on the side of the road just holding her head. And she ended up in the hospital for a couple months, and she went into a coma. Not knowing that I saw that accident. I witnessed it. That was my connection to Annabelle. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm here with the Warrens. I work for the Warrens. Senior lead investigator, taking on the cases, handling this doll, on which I built this case.
Yeah, would you explain, like, how'd you do it? Like, what's the precautions?
Yeah, we heard you did like rituals with it, like.
Oh yeah, there's ritual prayers that we perform. So I made this case since they closed the museum down because zoning reasons, and we decided how could we still educate the public and let it know that evil does exist. So I built this traveling case here to house Annabelle. Almost looks a little bit like Ed's case, but I added a couple extra protection items here. So you'll see there's a crucifix here and one on each side, which represents the Trinity. There's 3 of them, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The stain that I use is infused with holy oil and holy water. Behind the felt, behind Annabelle, is the Lord's Prayer scribed into the wall.
Oh, right, so you can't see it, it's
Right,
behind her, right?
it's behind there. So that's added protection to bind this evil to this case. Also, when we moved her, before we moved her, we performed a binding ritual prayer to contain her within inside the case. Also, I went to the church, had a blessing done on myself before I handled this doll.
Dan started to tell his struggle and remove the doll about how it physically affected him. Say physically affected his understanding that entity is truly capable of.
This lady said, Dan, you have to come over here. You have to get this out of my house. And I said, well, I don't know if I can get it out of your house, but I'll go over there and try to help you. Well, I'm at a red light at a 4-way intersection. Not paying attention with the traffic lights. My car did not move, but all 3 cars from all the other directions came right into me.
What?
Totaled my car. I mean, blew out the windows, everything. I walked out of that accident without a scratch. That was my first experience with this doll because I moved her. There was other times when I moved
Probably
this
the
doll.
most
I'll
deadly
lose another
doll
car.
besides the
And
shadow
it'll go
doll.
on one car.
So it's always crashes.
It's
people.
always, and it had to do with me, it's cars. And my wife told me, said, Dan, have you noticed
feeling
that
okay?
every time you move this doll, you lose a vehicle? But that's the whole backstory of this doll here, how I created this case. And,
Yeah.
you know, when we're taking it to the Paracon, this way we could educate the public that evil does exist. This doll is real. The demon that in this doll is real.
This is a real skull, you know, human skull.
What?
It's a real skull, used in satanic rituals.
Oh.
It was given to us
Get
by
out.
a former Satanist who now works in the area of religious demonology. He's converted from Satanism to this, to what Ed did, the study of demons and devils and how to fight them.
Okay.
Jesus.
This is Ed Warren's
Hell no.
painting that he did on a table.
Oh, is that the Conjuring house?
It's a haunted house, but it's not the
Oh,
Conjuring
okay.
house.
Oh,
Almost
it
looks like the Conjuring
looks
house.
like
A
the
little bit,
Conjuring.
yeah, right?
But I kind of think it's the Ocean-born Mary house in
Okay.
Connecticut, New Hampshire.
Question, real quick. Is this anything?
Oh,
This guy's spooky.
Yeah,
I
this
almost
guy
missed
is.
that.
I remember
That's
the
a
story about this
satanic
one.
worship idol.
Looks
This is a-
really
this-
freaky,
This
man.
is it's real freaky as fright. And here's what happened with this. This is really a weird story. A young hunter, his name was Eric, about 22 years old. He was a bow and arrow
So many
hunter.
stories.
And he hunted deer. He went into the woods in Sandy Hook, 1990 maybe, 89, 90. He goes into the woods to hunt deer. He's walking through the pathways. He gets lost. He doesn't know where he is. Finally, he stumbles upon this grotto of rocks that's elevated. A round circle of rocks
That's
with
in the
gravel
middle.
and everything. On top of that is this thing.
What?
So when he's looking, it's about 7.5 feet high, 8 feet high. As it stands now, it's about, what, 6?
Yeah.
It's about 7.5 feet high, and it's made out of like a ceramic, almost like you would make a cup out of ceramic or a plate. You know, I'm not going to touch it. But
Yeah, no.
I
when
wouldn't
we
touch it.
transport it, we don't touch it. We surround it with foam and things before we ever touch it. We have it blessed first. So the kid sees it. This young man sees it. He sits down in front of the grotto like this, heart beating rapidly. He's like, man, this is scary. I don't know what the heck that thing is, but I got to get out of here, he says to himself. He gets home. He sees his friends. He's all shook up. They said, where is this thing? The kid says, it's in the woods of Sandy Hook. I don't know what to do about it, though. He said, why don't you call Mr. Warren? He lives in Monroe, which is like the next town over. He calls Ed. Ed and Lorraine both went out and met the kid on the street. Kid said, I think I can find the statue. Ed walks into the woods with the kid. They find it. Immediately Ed says, I know what that is, and I know what it's used for, and it doesn't belong here. That is a satanic worship idol used by Satanists who worship the devil. And you know, and the kid, Eric,
Why would you want to
told
do
Eric
that?
about this man. Ed says, and I know who that guy is. He's a high priest of a satanic cult, and he's very dangerous. And I'm going to take that back with me. It doesn't belong in the woods. And that did. He loaded it up in the car with Lorraine and went and took it and put it in the museum right here.
Yikes. Oh.
Marty Johnson, the actual subject who was arrested for manslaughter and sent to prison for 5 years, he's going to be there and signing copies of the book Devil in Connecticut. That's the doll, toy that David Glatzel had, and that toy slithered across the carpeting while everybody was watching, and a voice emanating from around this toy said in a gruff, deep, growly voice, "You are all going to die."
I remember on the film that happened too. So
Yes.
that's just crazy. That this is the
That's
real
the actual
one.
doll. No, that's what I call
Right
the doll.
there, yeah.
That's the actual toy. The dinosaur toy that somebody gave David Glatzel. When that kind of stuff happens, that's the devil trying to scare the daylights out of people.
Right.
But David was possessed by a demonic entity. But I'll just tell you really quick.
Yeah, no.
Why did Arnie stab Alan Bono? A lot of stuff was happening to David Glatzel in the house. 11 years old at the time. Arnie was 18 at the time. He stands in the middle of the room and he says, "Stop it! Stop attacking that kid. He's just a kid."
That was
He says,
the devil
"Take
that
me
made me
on."
do it.
He said, "Take me on. I'm a man." It wasn't a week or so later that this happened with the stabbing. Arnie can't remember anything that happened. All he remembers is being in the backyard. He saw Alan Bono. The next thing he remembers, waking up in custody in handcuffs. He remembers nothing of the
He's
incident.
like, what
That's
happened?
insane.
That was because he was temporarily taken over by the demonic force.
This case here that I built, this one's actually kind of special to me because it has a connection with Arnie Johnson and Debbie
Right.
Johnson, which this dinosaur comes from The Conjuring 3. If you heard of that,
Yep.
The Devil Made Me Do It, the Brookfield murder case, where this doll was known to go across the floor and tell everybody in the house, you're all gonna die. Before Debbie had passed away, I did not know that she had cancer, and she made me a set of rosaries. So when I went on a case, that these rosaries will protect me. And she said, "Dan, do me a favor, could you build a case for the dinosaur?" She had passed away and she never saw the case. So I built a case in honor of her, put the rosaries she gave me and put him around the dinosaur. So my protection became your protection.
Right.
So this protects the general public. If any,
I just think that Conjuring can make a whole bunch of other movies, like the Shadow Doll,
of the
that
devil,
Tiki Satanic Doll.
And I put the same thing with the crucifixes, Lord's Prayers on each side, and the crucifix in the center. So the same protection.
Like the Annabelle doll.
Like the Annabelle doll. Nothing human can inhabit these items. These are all demonic entities that inhabit these items to trick you. Especially a child, you know, this item starts moving around, the child thinks that's pretty cool.
Oh, totally.
And it gets to them, and
It's got batteries.
Real, you know,
Nope,
they start
it's got a
playing with it
demon.
more to give it an identity, they give it a name. Same with the Annabelle doll. You give it an identity, you give it a strength. It's trickery. So you really don't know where the activity is coming from.
Do we know the
in this
demon's
room,
name
because
is
it
an
bounces
Annabelle?
around, and it might affect
Can't remember.
him. It might not affect you.
Right.
He might think there's something innocent in this room.
So it's like, let's say there's something still evil about
Valak
this.
is
It
the
will
one
pick
that's
and
the
choose
nut.
who it's
It
easier
picks.
to get into.
Right. So
Right.
if you have any personal issues that you're going through in your life, or it could be, you know, in your past, you might have been suicidal, or you had a drug addiction, anything. Or if you're having like a bad relationship with your girlfriend, it still weakens you, and you become a target, because at that moment your faith is low, your strength is low, and you know you don't have the will to fight. So that's how it targets you.
Would you say, let's say if someone's super low and they came in this museum, that they could get maybe hurt?
All
if they
those
left?
negative vibrations will go right to
in
them.
you, right?
Right
Even
to them.
still now, even though
Even today,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
now.
Josh has got
They-
his, like,
I wouldn't
lights
even allow them in
bright.
the museum, knowing if they
Yeah,
had
if
those,
that happened, yeah.
you know, attachments.
Yeah. I have one question then.
Yeah, sure.
So, what was your most craziest activity, maybe with one of these museum objects? Did anything ever happen to you that was bad?
What happened with me was the doll's eyes moved, went back and forth like this while I was giving a tour. So I knew the doll was active, because people were saying, well, the doll's not active anymore, is it? I'm like, no, it hasn't done much.
Yeah, then
And right after
boom,
I
boom.
said that, the doll's eyes moved left and right. So there's something
Wow.
It's like, nope, I'm still
The
here,
Annabelle
dude.
doll, The Annabelle.
the actual
That
Annabelle
doll.
doll, yeah.
Dude.
So I know there's still something.
Yeah.
That's why we keep her in a case, and we have regularly a Catholic priest come out and bless the museum and all the objects. And he does a binding prayer.
Like, what do you say, like
Every
once
month.
a year or
Every-
once
no,
a month?
every
So
month.
would you say like these objects are now like at least safer?
I'd say they're dormant.
Right.
I'd say they're stable.
They're like,
Yeah.
they're like
Keep
in
them stable by those
cryostasis.
prayers. You know, it's almost like the electronic dog fences.
They're
where a dog
sleeping.
can only
Right.
go so far. Well, these binding prayers keeps that evil at bay. It can only go so far. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
So you wouldn't
they
want to
got
destroy
leash
these
on 'em.
objects. You want to keep
No,
them.
because if you destroy the object, you're destroying the vessel only.
Okay.
You're not destroying the spirit that's inside of it. Just like if someone gets murdered,
Right.
you're destroying the body.
Right, but the
you don't
soul-
destroy the soul. The
Yeah.
soul never dies.
Never thought of it that
Your
way.
soul never dies. So these spirits are energy. They're spirits, and evil spirits. Their energy never goes away, never dies. Any energy that God creates never dies.
This is fucking crazy.
That's nuts.
See? What do you think, Radek? Man, this is like the movies. It's like The Conjuring, and
This
you're like
is
here, you know? What do you think from all that set? That was a lot to take in.
My main thing is just like I can't get over how many items are in this room.
Every
It's
item's
so
a story.
many.
Exactly what I was gonna say. How every single item in this room has its own story, from its own investigation, from different places all over the world.
You brought up something a minute ago. You said something about the sword.
Oh, the satanic sword. If you guys,
Yeah, I would
Satanic
love to see.
sword?
and I call this area right here is
Satanic
the
sword?
satanic area here. I don't know if Tony showed you this.
Nope, he did not.
But these are satanic rituals and how they were performed. Their rituals out in the woods.
Is this during like the Satanic Panic era around
This
here,
is
like
around the
Bridgewater?
70s, yeah.
Yep.
So this is around the 70s era, around there. These were fertility rituals that they would do, blood
No,
rituals
thanks.
they would perform as well. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, what kind of
Yeah.
rituals they performed, but it's drinking the blood of the innocent. This is kind of the knife that they would use
Whoa.
in satanic sacrifices, and then they will slit their throats and they will drink their blood, and that blood was pretty much to them is the fountain of youth, and it gives them power and strength. So
No thanks.
people, those are
What happened to
parts of
just
satanic
drinking some
rituals,
normal
blood
grape
rituals,
juice and-
fertility rituals.
These
fruit
pictures,
punch and
people
watching
documented
Netflix.
them.
Yeah, they're all
I
documented.
know they didn't
And
have
that's
that
one of the
back in
swords used to
the
do that, you
70s,
think?
I
but
believe this
geez.
is one of them Ed collected. This is Satanic Bible. Actually, I got this from a case in North Haven, Connecticut, where this kid was dabbling in satanic rituals. Actually, it was on a TV show, but they didn't come
Satanic
across that this kid
Bible?
was dabbling
Get
in
outta here.
satanic rituals, which was affecting his family, and I caught up on it, and I told the kid to come. I wanted to talk to him because there was something in his room.
Yeah.
And after talking to him for a while, he went into his room and pulled out the Satanic Bible, and it was telling us about the rituals he was performing which was affecting the family with poltergeist activity in the house. That will be used in satanic rituals as well. This sword was sent to us because the person it was given to started experiencing phenomenon in his house, which this would be used is pretty much the same as this sword here. I'd pick it up again.
It's almost a mini one of that one.
Of that one.
Oh yeah, look at
That would be used in rituals.
damn.
So where'd you get that sword?
A gentleman sent this from out west to us because it was wreaking havoc on him and his family. So he thought about us and said, hey guys, will you take this off my hands? And he actually made the case for it and shipped it to us.
The fact that he even made a case for it, like a guy who doesn't make cases, like I'm making this case,
Spent the money on it.
Yep.
And
that shows that it's legit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there had to be some kind of like negative energy attached
Of
to
course.
it if you want to get rid of it so bad.
That bad.
Right, so
yeah.
you see me touching these items, but also I was trained by Lorraine, in which that knowledge was based upon me to handle
No,
these
thank
objects
you.
in the
Good
museum.
thing my
And you
dolls are
believe
not
a lot
haunted.
of these cases
So.
are not from mental health issues, but more from these objects that we're in right now today.
Right. These objects are used as conduits to get to you, to get you emotionally attached to them, and then they wreak havoc on your life. The demonic doesn't like us helping people, but they use these objects as tools to destroy the human soul.
No thanks. One more thing.
A lot of these objects are going to be on display at the Phantasmicon that you're coming to.
Yep.
Annabelle is coming to the Mohegan Sun Casino, and she's bringing some of her friends. Come to the Warren Seekers of the Supernatural Phantasmicon on October 28, 2023.
Where is it
on
at?
display, some of the most haunted artifacts from the Warren's Occult Museum, including the Shadow Doll and a satanic worship idol, great paranormal celebrities, and over 100 vendors from all aspects of the paranormal realm. Tickets on sale now at
Maybe someday.
nespr.ticketbud.com. nespr.ticketbud.com.
It's going to be at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut on October 28th. And we're going to have you, of course. We're going to have
Seth is going to also be joining us.
Seth. And we're going to have the overnight crew. You know, the
Yeah,
overnight
we
guys.
know overnight.
And we're going to have Jason Hawes. A lot of guest celebrities.
Oh, Jason!
A lot of guest celebrities are coming. Corian Satori, Eugenie Bondurant from The Conjuring 3. She was at the end of that movie.
Oh, that's sick.
A lot of- So if you want tickets, nespr.ticketbud.com.
You guys want tickets? There you go.
nespr.ticketbud.com. It's selling pretty fast, so
I'm already out.
Go get them.
Oh, see Radic? I don't think Radic could handle that.
Nah, he can't handle that.
No.
Yeah, he needs at least 3 more years of ghost hunting.
Yeah, he's still.
He's got to be a veteran.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did just walk around with a bunch of demonic things all around
Energy
us.
all
so-
around
Gotta
us.
need a sage.
Make the sign of the cross. Yep, you can do that. That's fine. That's good.
I'll take some.
And you go here first?
Up,
Sign of the cross.
Yep.
the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And then amen.
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 Oh, that's a lot. I'm like leaking with holy water now.
That's a good thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
And
Amen.
you're safe now.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, guys, good job.
No,
Thank you,
seriously,
man.
Thank you for having us.
Seriously, dude.
that's
Thanks for coming
Thanks for
out.
having us.
it's a
Seriously.
huge deal.
Thank you for having us, man.
It's been a huge deal. It really means a lot.
Nah, for real. Oh, man. Did we actually just hang out with the real Annabelle doll?
From Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like,
Guys, that was a bucket list destination that I can finally check off the list. Josh, too. I mean, fuck, how long have we been trying to do this?
After Conjuring House.
So it's been about
2.5, 3
yeah,
years.
3 years maybe. Dude,
It's been a lot to make this happen.
we did it.
It's been a lot to make
Shout out
this
to Radic for helping us out. Again, thank everybody. This is your business car?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Damn,
That's the oh, a
dude.
Nova?
All original inside, too.
Oh my
Seekers
gosh.
of the Supernatural.
That
Damn.
is
I like the mirrors.
sexy.
This place is cool. It's got everything.
Oh my
Haunted
gosh.
objects, demons, cars. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Be yourself and go explore the world. Peace and thanks for watching.
Do it. That being said, if you guys want tickets to the Phantasmicon, I would love to go someday. I can't go this year because obviously gotta work. Gotta do all that busy stuff. Plus we're working on the comic book and stuff like that. So, but make sure you guys are subscribed for more content. Who knows what the future has for this channel? Maybe we might go there and see the Annabelle doll someday. I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of holiness and so forth like that. But comment your guys' thoughts down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next one. So keep it real, keep it safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.